Scene 2, same room. Now the conference table is taken over by members of the DAG committee. Hades chairs the session, sitting at the head of the table. Hades, welcome everybody. I gather most committee members know each other, but let me introduce Phobos as the representative of Ares and Hydrokakos representing Poseidon, pointing in their respective direction. Apollo and therefore his representative have resigned their position as Apollo's areas of duty have changed. Hades, this meeting has become necessary because we have to discuss the proposed shift in death distribution of humans and its implementation resulting from the latest decisions of DUMP. As being member of DUMP, I will introduce both the history and the factual decisions. Stands up. Hades, gentlemen, I presume you are familiar with the composition of this DUMP committee. Hera, Athene, Aphrodite, Dionysos, Apollo, and yours truly. Poseidon is a non-voting and mostly absent member because he is normally not much involved with people. Hera chairs. DUMP has been founded to bolster the morals and spirits of the mortals, investigate our relative morals, and has been started relatively recently. Naturally, death is only one aspect concerning human life, but it's certainly the deepest and complexest one. So why care about the morals of the mortals? In fact, for a long time we did not. We accepted their sacrifices, occasionally handed out favors, and sometimes took them as lovers. On the whole, we took advantage of their existence, but did not care much otherwise. While history is made by gods and men, none of both parties controls it consciously. So it came that without us noticing, the relations of gods and men intensified over time owing our similarities. In fact, the judgment of Paris was the first time in which three goddesses relinquished voluntarily considerable power to a mortal. The consequences were devastating. First for the mortals who are gone now for generations, and for us who can never forget. One consequence of that episode was that direct physical revenge revealed itself as too costly for the mortals. Humans have now changed their mind about the exercise of justice. This in turn led to a more stable society that, in another twist, has more benefits for us. In particular, a stable society can control far better the exercise of religion and cult. Trade and wealth also blossom, of which we benefit in addition. However, it leads also to more intense scrutinization of our behavior by men. Hera and Athena are now insisting on an exemplary behavior of the gods. Smirking. The closeness to the people and the fact that we are far more powerful than them has also led to an emotional shift among us. Even though we are not connected by a common cause for our existence and we owe them nothing, we started to feel for individual humans, later for many of them. Power makes you feel responsible. While they largely have to toil the earth with sweat in their faces, we still want them to be reasonably happy now. A society based on a common set of behavioral rules certainly makes that easier. That gets me to death. So far we have not used death as a way to encourage good behavior among the mortals. Until now we do death at random, only folded over some mortality curve that ensures that largely the older die and the younger have time to propagate, produce food and transfer the knowledge to the next generation. Sometimes some of our gods, looks at Hydrokakos and Phobos, for whatever reason kill men in addition in hecatombs, but the influence of such spectacular events on the total death rate remains relatively small. The proposal to dump tabled by Hera and Athena was to award a considerable amount of lifetime to those humans that are good. I was the first one to voice opposition with the argument that first I do not anything about goodness of individual mortals. That would require constant observation of each individually. Secondly, I do not know how to judge goodness, by good intention or good result for a small group or the entire mankind, etc. Complex rules would be required, and at least I, that means us here, do not have enough God power to implement such rules with any enforcement. More principled opposition was voiced by Apollo, Dionysus and Aphrodite. They argued that for a big increase in lifetime, if it leads to a better morality, this morality would not come from insight or feeling, but just from expediency. Thus it would diminish the freedom of man. Only by insight and the good example of gods can a mortal obtain goodness. All three gods also argued for a wide view of morality to keep humans vibrant and the arts blossoming. Morality shall not stifle life, and Hera's and Athena's version of moral may very well. After a discussion lasting several days, including some wine and ambrosia becoming airborne, we agreed on the following compromise. First, married man, husband, shall have an increase in life expectancy over the general male population of up to 3 years. The measure is to be implemented continuously over 3,000 years. Furthermore, the incidences of early deaths compared to a normal lifetime shall be reduced. To this purpose, we will have a common committee with the powers of healing, particular Asclepius, to implement such a measure. From us, the master of infectious and early childhood death are particularly involved and will meet with their healing counterparts soon to work out a common strategy. The general life expectancy, especially for women, shall be slowly increased for up to 30 years over 3,000 to 5,000 years. This concerns to a high degree the masters of heart attacks and cancer. Similar common health death committees, as I just mentioned, will be implemented. Our chief mathematician, Arithmopsoides, looks in his direction, shall produce mortality tables for discussion in the committees. Also, in a slow process, the profession of the healer shall be separated from the profession of priest. This will allow to have more healers with less overhead. Also, healers are requested to refer more to proven methods and not miracles by gods. Persephone approaching with Cerberus behind, hollering, "Hades, we have an important visitor here." Apollo steps out of the dark. Hades, "Well, gentlemen, as you see, I'm busy. We will meet again in a month. I expect that you form internal committees to discuss the measures that I reported, and I'm looking forward to your proposals." Hades, turning, "Apollon."